Yo guys, what's up? Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Kasakai, how are you guys? Good afternoon, good afternoon. आ जाओ. One second. Noise. Yes. Good afternoon, good afternoon. How's your preparation going? How's your preparation going? Okay, chalo, let's not waste any further time. Let's begin with today's session. So, guys, today we are going to discuss GST model test paper questions. Now, GST liability questions, but I'm taking model test paper questions. Why? Because see, the model test papers which are released by the institute are of past paper questions or mock test paper questions or revision test paper questions. So all these questions are going to be institute questions, and that's why these questions can be very important from your exam perspective. Now understand one thing, that we are not learning anything different than what is going to come in the exam, right? So that's why let's focus on the exam questions only, and let's try to finish it in the most efficient manner, right? But before we start with anything with GST liability questions, I just want to make a good base of your GST liability, right? Because if you don't have a good base, you will not be able to proceed further. Because I know that many students are facing problems in GST liability questions, especially they're not understanding how to present the answer. But don't worry, after this lecture, you will be super comfortable in GST liability questions, and that is my guarantee. Right? So, without wasting any further time, let's begin. But before we begin, if you are new to this channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and then we will start with the next session. Chalo, let's move ahead with the GST liability questions. Very simple, okay? If you know what is if you know RCM, if you know exemptions, if you know ITC, these questions will be a cakewalk for you. Trust me. Okay, let's begin. Now, sir, where will you get the PDFs of this particular model test papers? I have already uploaded the PDF on my Telegram group. You can go on the Telegram group and you can download it. Right? So, if you see model test papers for all the subjects of Group One, they have made only one PDF. But what I have done is I have separated the GST PDF. For questions, there's a separate PDF, and for answers, there is a separate PDF. Understanding? Okay, let's begin. I will first make a good base, as I told you. Understand. What is GST liability? GST liability questions are going to come in your exam as mandatory questions, right? Okay. What is GST liability? GST liability is basically whatever will be my outward tax on my outward supply, reduced by whatever will be my ITC on my inward supply. So if I reduce the ITC from the outward supply, I will get the final answer as GST liability. Understanding? So we are going to do GST liability. We are going to compute GST liability like this: outward tax minus ITC. You already know this. Perfect. Now, how the questions will be drafted for making you solve this GST liability questions. First of all, for all the things as outward supply, they will give you various types of information. Like for example, for outward supply, they will give you some data about negative list, some entry of value of supply, some entry of exemptions, and some entry for reverse charge mechanism. Now, for example, sir, I understood that I have seen one entry in as negative list. Of course, I will not consider that as outward tax, right? Because it is not taxable. If it is taxable value of supply, then in that case, I will definitely consider an in my outward supply. If it is an exempt supply, then of course I will not consider that as my in my outward supply. And if my outward supply is taxable under reverse charge mechanism, I'm repeating this once again. The taxable supply is the outward supply is taxable under reverse charge mechanism. Then in that case, it will be taxable in whose hands? will it be taxable in my hands as a supplier, or will it be taxable in the recipient's hands as a recipient? What do you think if my outward supply is taxable as reverse charge mechanism? Of course, I will not pay the GST, but the recipient will pay the GST. So, can I say that in my outward supply, this tax will not come because I'm not charging the tax, I'm not collecting the tax, I'm not making a payment of tax, and that's why it will not come in my outward tax. Is everybody clear till here? Is everybody clear till here? Recipient, perfect. Superb, superb, superb. Okay. Now let's move ahead. This is my outward tax, right? This is my outward tax. Okay. I will reduce my outward tax with ITC, that is input tax credit. And for using this or for getting this answer of ITC, I need to apply what? ITC chapter. So basically, these are the chapters which you are going to use while identifying the outward tax. Number one, negative list, which means supply. Value of supply, which means it is going to be what? Value of supply. Exemptions, which means exemption chapter. RCM means charge chapter, right? And for ITC, you are going to use what? ITC chapter. Understanding? Where is MPAL? Okay. Then after that, we will move ahead with utilization of ITC. We will move ahead with utilization of ITC, how to utilize ITC. See, first of all, I will tell you that how will you utilize the ITC. See, look here. If you have the ITC of IGST, CGST, SGST, see, this is going to be your situation, right? So ITC, I have multiple ITCs. I have multiple outward tax liabilities. Now the point is, which ITC to be utilized first? That is the question. Should I utilize CGST first? Should I utilize SGST? Should I utilize IGST? What should I utilize first? Now, this is the manner of here they have mentioned the manner of utilization, how you are going to utilize and against what you are going to utilize. Understanding? Okay, let's come here and let's try understanding this. First of all, whatever ITCs you have, I understand that you have multiple ITCs, but you are going to consider the first ITC to be utilized as IGST. Please try to understand. First ITC is going to be IGST. That IGST ITC will be utilized against my outward tax of IGST first. The first preference of outward tax is going to be given for IGST. Understanding? Okay. Then the second, like for example, the IGST is 100 here. Okay, and outward tax is 70 here. So of course I could not utilize the entire IGST against my outward tax of IGST, right? So whatever 30 I will be left with, I can utilize that 30 ka IGST against CGST or SGST in any combination. You want to use entirely against CGST, you can use it. You want to use entirely like 30 rupees against SGST, you can do it. If you want to use 15 here, 15 here, you can do it. There is no problem at all. Any combination is possible. Understanding? After that, come to the next part. Once IGST amount becomes zero, understand, once IGST amount becomes zero, then only you go ahead with CGST. The second is going to be CGST. CGST ITC can be utilized only against CGST outward. CGST ITC can be utilized only against CGST outward first. If you are left with CGST ITC, for example, here also, like CGST ITC you have as 100, outward tax as 70. So don't you think you have 30 extra CGST which is left? Yes. And this 30 extra CGST which is left, you can use it only and only against IGST and not against SGST. Please try to understand the ITC of CGST will not be utilized against outward tax of SGST. So CGST cannot be utilized against SGST. Understanding? So what will happen with the amount which is left to be utilized after utilizing CGST, IGST? Then in that case, if there is still some amount, you will be able to carry forward to the next taxable period. Correct? Understanding? Okay. Now, SGST, if I say like ITC of SGST is going to be utilized first against SGST And if there is any amount which is still left in SGST credit ITC, you will be able to utilize against IGST. Yes, is everybody clear? No problem. Okay. Now I will give you. I want everybody to participate now. Even though you know, you don't know, you just try. Okay. First of all, I will solve this for you, and then you can try on your own. I have ITC, IGST, CGST, SGST. Outward is IGST, CGST, SGST. How am I going to utilize? First of all, I'm going to consider what? IGST. So I reduced this 100 against this 50. So here I will be left with nil. Here I will be left with 50. Okay, be very careful. Okay. After that, is my IGST 0 yet? No. That's why I'm going to utilize this 50 against CGST, SGST in any combination. So can I say I will use 50-50%? So 25 here and 25 here. So 25, which means I will get 45 here, and here I will get what? 55. Simple, no problem. Okay. Now, is my IGST 0 now? Yes, my IGST is 0 now. Then you come to CGST ITC. Okay, 80. Can I say I will use this 80 against this, and here I will make it as 0. I will be left with 35. Okay. Can I use this 35 against IGST? Yes, you can, but there is nothing to utilize in IGST. CGST is also 0. Can you utilize this 35 against SGST of 55? No. And that's why you are going to what? Carry forward this to the next uh next taxable period. Understanding? Okay. Now CGST is also not possible after this. Then you come to SGST. Against SGST, you cancel this and you cancel this. You will be left with nil here, and here you will be left with what? 25. So again 25, what will you do with 25? 25, you are going to what? Carry forward to the. I hope you are absolutely clear. So what is your tax liability? Your tax liability is going to be 0. Nil plus nil plus nil. Okay. Now you are going to try this. You are going to try this. This is 20, okay? This is 20. IGST is 20. Approximately 3.5 hours. I can say that 3.5 hours. Today's session will be for 3.5 hours. Okay. Can we start? So IGST 20, first I will utilize it against 70, right? So this will become 0 and this will become 50. Is there any IGST which is left now? No. So that's why I will go to CGST. CGST 80, I will use this, sorry, I will use this 80 here against CGST outward first. So which is going to be 0 here, and I will be left with 10. Now I will be able to use this 10 against IGST of 50. So I will be left with 40 here, and here it will be nil. Okay, no problem. After that, SGST 80. Here I will use 80 cross. Then I will be left with nil here, and here it will be 5. Correct. I will use this 5 here, and I will use it against IGST outward of 40, which means 35. Can I say my GST liability is 35? Everybody, superb. I'm very happy that everybody is getting the right answer. Ek number. Correct. Okay. Now, I have multiple questions for you to revise. See, look here, and can you tell me the answer? See, I'm telling you, every point which you are discussing here is going to be super helpful in the next 3 hours. I'm telling you, maza aega. See, and your way of utilization can be different than institute's way of utilization. That is okay. That is absolutely okay that your way of utilization is lower as in is different. But the tax liability should not be different. It should not be your tax liability is lower than institute's tax liability. It should not be the case. Please try to understand. They have given you certain rules, right? They have given you all the rules. You have to be in those rules and get the answer. I think voice is proper from my end. Can you please check your earphones, or can you please add some extra speaker, small speaker? Okay. Now let's try to get the answer. So IGST 80. First, I will utilize it against IGST 75. I will be left with 5, and here it will be nil. Correct? No problem. Okay. Now I have 5. How will I utilize this 5? You can say that you can utilize it against anything, right? But I will tell you one thing. I will tell you one thing. Okay, can I utilize it against CGST? Absolutely yes. Can I utilize it against SGST? Absolutely yes. So why are we waiting? Why aren't we directly utilizing it against CGST first? Please understand. You look at CGST ITC. CGST has 60 ITC and CGST has outward tax of 50. So don't you think CGST has its own sufficient ITC to utilize against outward tax? Don't you think the CGST has its own sufficient ITC to utilize against outward tax of CGST? So does CGST need anybody else's help for utilization? Absolutely no, because CGST is saying that I don't need anybody's help because I am self-sufficient. I have sufficient ITC to utilize against 50. But if I talk about SGST, SGST's outward tax is 90 and it is not self-sufficient because SGST's ITC is only 60. So who is in need of ITC? Who is in need of ITC? The person who is in need of ITC, like the GST who is in need of ITC, is SGST because the ITC is not sufficient. So don't you think we should give this 5 rupees to who is in need? Understanding? Right? So that's why, first of all, you have to before you utilize this IGST, you have to first see CGST and SGST. You have to see whether the ITC is sufficient in both the cases. See, if it is sufficient, see in the above example, if you see in both the cases, the ITCs were sufficient, and that's why we did not discuss this. The ITCs were sufficient, but here the ITCs are not sufficient. ITC is not sufficient in SGST, but it is sufficient in CGST. And that's why we are not going to give this 5 to CGST because we will waste that. We will give this 5 to who is in need, that is SGST. And that's why I will take this 5, I will make it nil here, and I will make it 85 here. Right? Now IGST is 0. Yes, you come to a CGST now. Now in CGST, you will cancel it. You will cancel this, write at nil, and write as 10. Will you be able to utilize this 10? No, because this is also nil now and this is also nil now. Understanding? Okay. What will you do with this? Carry forward. Correct? Okay. Now, SGST ITC, whatever you have that is 60, you will utilize it against 85. I will still be left with 25. Here it will be. So can I say I will have to uh, pay the say SGST of 25, everybody? Sir, what if? See, as per the law, sir, it was allowed, right? As per the law, it was allowed that I will be able to use this 5 against CGST. Sir, I should do it. Yes, you can do it. As per the law, you will be able to utilize this 5 against anything. There is no problem. But whenever in the question they will not ask you to compute the GST liability, but they will always ask you to find out the minimum GST payable. Minimum GST payable. So you have to, because see, once you will qualify, you will consult, clients will come to you for consulting. Will you say anything which will be higher in tax liability? Of course, no, right? And that's why you are going to you are going to find out the answer in such a way that it will be the most beneficial for the client, right? Understanding? But sir, I want to ask you one thing. What if I'm using this 5 against CGST, which is as per the law? Will it change the answer? 100% yes, it will change the answer. Look here. One second. I will just change this. So here it is 25, right? Just remember the answer. Here it is 25. I will cancel this and I will show you. It will go very slow because see, I know that if you understand this, you will be able to crack the questions. That's why I'm making your foundation in this. So don't think that I'm going too slow for this and all. Don't think about it. I will handle it very well. Don't worry. Okay. So IGST 80, first I will utilize it against IGST. It will become nil. Then yeah, I will be left with what, 5, correct? You are saying that first you can use it against CGST as well. I can do it, or I can do half. So I will then use it against CGST. I will be left with 45 and here nil. Okay, no problem. Then you come to CGST 60. I will use this. I will be left with 15 and here it will be nil. Okay. Now SGST. Okay, this I will carry forward. Everybody. Again, 60 here, I will use it against 90. So I will be left with what? 30. And here I will be left with nil. So don't you think my answer is 30 now? Earlier my answer was 25. My answer right now is 30. So don't you think this is going to change the answer? Yes. And that's why we have to identify the minimum GST liability and not just the GST liability. Yes. And that's why I'm saying that you can use any method. You can use any method, but the minimum GST liability, which is payable, is should be the same as the suggested answers. Yes, understanding. Okay. Can you try solving this answer now? Okay, this question now. Can you try solving this question now? Okay, everybody is saying that the answer is going to be 10. Nil. Okay, let's find out. Okay, 10 is the credit. Okay, so let's find out. IGST 110, right? I will first use IGST against IGST outward. So here it will be nil and here it will be 40. Then again, IGST, you just see whether can I use 40 against 90? Yes. Can I use 40 against 100? Yes. Then what is to be done? Then you have to just understand one thing. You just see whether there are any ITCs which are sufficient. Here, it is not sufficient. Here, this is also not sufficient. Now, you first identify how much amount how much amount does CGST need and how much amount does SGST need. You first I try to identify that. See, in CGST, can I say I already have ITC of 70 and there is an outward tax of 90? Can I say I need 20 here? I need 20 here. And in SGST, I need only 10 here because I already have the ITC of 90. I need 10 here. So you do whatever you want to do, but you have to ensure that Out of this 40, you have to at least give 20 to CGST and at least give 10 to SGST. And the rest of the amount which is there, you can do it anyways. So out of 40, 30 you are going to use it in this way, 20 year and 10 year. And rest of the 10, you can decide in any way you can give. Like entirely 10 to CGST you can give, entirely 10 to SGST you can give. That is irrelevant. Right? So let's do one thing. I will give 20 year and I will give 10 plus rest of 10 year. So can I say I will give 20 and 20? Okay. So here I will be left with 70. Here I will be left with 8. Correct? And did you understand why did I reduce 80 here? So 10 which is in need plus 10 which is extra. I use it against SGST. I could use it against CGST as well. Okay. And here it will become nil. Okay. Now you come to CGST. 70, 70, 0. Superb. After that, SGST 90 and so I will be left with 10 and SGST 80, 0. Correct? Your credit can differ. Your credit can differ, but your tax liability should not differ. So my tax liability comes as what? Is everybody clear? Is everybody clear with this basic part? Okay. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, let's move ahead. Let's move ahead with the next part. I will take two examples. I will take one example of Devansh. There is one person called Devansh, right? There is one person called Anisha with white hair. Anisha. Okay. Now, understand. Devansh is a supplier and Anisha is a recipient. Okay. Devansh is a supplier and Anisha is a recipient. Devansh is making some kind of supply worth 7,50,000 rupees and which is taxable under reverse charge mechanism. Okay. And GST is applicable at the rate of 10%. I just want to ask you one thing. Who will pay the GST to the government? I just want to ask you one thing. Who will pay the GST to the government? Devansh or Anisha? I didn't say who will bear the GST. Of course, the person who is going to bear the GST is Anisha only. Who is going to go to the government and pay the GST is the question. Anisha is going to go to the government and pay the GST. Everybody is clear with this? Yes, you are absolutely right because this is taxable under reverse charge mechanism. No, that's why the recipient, that is Anisha, is going to go to the government and pay the GST. So government, okay. So how much will be the GST? Rupees 75,000. Now, while making a payment of 75,000, Anisha suddenly realized that she has the ITC of 1 lakh rupees. Now you tell me one thing. How much amount will Anisha pay to the government? How much amount will Anisha pay to the government? Absolutely right. So basically, whenever Anisha is going to the government for making a payment of GST of 75,000, which is there in her on her inward supply, even though she has the ITC, it is not going to be used. Please, boys and girls, try to understand. Boys and girls, try to understand. If my ITC can be utilized against my outward tax. ITC can be utilized against my outward tax. What is outward tax? Outward tax is the tax which I'm charging on my outward supply. Is there any GST which is getting charged by Anisha from the customer? No, there is no outward tax. So please understand, this is the ITC which is not going to be used for my inward tax. Now I will give you one simple example if you are getting confused. Now if I tell you if it is taxable under forward charge mechanism, if I tell you that this is taxable under forward charge mechanism, then how will you react to this situation? So Anisha will make a payment of 75,000 rupees to supplier. Now, while making a payment of 75,000, can Anisha say that I want to utilize this ITC of 1 lakh rupees? You'll say no, because it is my inward supply. So, if you are saying no to this particular transaction, don't you think it is the same, right? See, it is under forward charge mechanism, you are making a payment of 75 to Devansh, and Devansh is going to the government and paying 75. And under reverse charge mechanism, Anisha is not paying anything to Devansh. Anisha is directly going to the government and paying the GST of 75,000. It is one and the same, right? So this is my inward supply, and on my inward supply, whatever tax I'm going to pay under reverse charge mechanism, of course I will not be able to use any ITC, because that is not my outward tax. This is the tax which needs to be paid on my inward supply. But here, supplier is not going to pay. I am only going to pay to the government. That is 75,000. Understanding? So can I say this is my inward tax, not my outward tax? Yes. Now I want to ask one more question, that what if I say that once I pay 75,000, once I pay 75,000, don't you think I deserve the ITC of 75,000? Everybody in the chat, please. Because if you say that it is taxable under forward charge mechanism, you would have said that Anisha is going to pay 75,000 to Devansh, so that Anisha will be able to take the ITC of 75,000. If you are saying this under forward charge mechanism, don't you think you are going to get the same kind of benefit under reverse charge mechanism as well? Here only the difference is, you're not making a payment of 75 to Devansh, you're making a payment of 75 to government. Will this change the ITC treatment? No, you pay 75, you get the ITC of 75. So please understand, in the ITC, once you pay 75,000, it will be added here. It will be added here. Shivram Kumar BB, yo, congratulations. Super. And this is really very important, because this is a very small part maybe for you, but this was really very important for you to understand that even though I have the ITC, I will not use it, because I use the ITC against my outward tax. Now let's take an example. Let's extend this example and say that Anisha is making some kind of outward supply, to Raju. Okay. And this outward supply is worth 10 lakhs. Correct? So, how much amount will Raju pay? 10 lakhs plus 1 lakh IT GST. Correct? So, can I say, if we are paying a GST of 1 lakh rupees, can I say this is my outward tax, 1 lakh rupees? Yes. And against this 1 lakh rupees, I will be able to utilize the ITC of 1 lakh 75,000. Understanding? Easy? Okay. Now, I will try to make a small table for you guys, and I will tell you how to present the answers in the exam for GST liability. So this is the only concept which I wanted to explain about RCM. I hope you are clear. But now, using the same example, I will tell you how to present the answer in the exam. So basically, you need how many tables? I want you to make one table for outward tax, right? I want you to make the second table for ITC, and I want you to make the third table for utilization of GST, or utilization of ITC, or computation of GST. Yes, the table number 1 is for outward tax, table number 2 is for ITC, and table number 3 is for computation. Is everybody clear? Okay, now we'll start making table number 1. What is going to be table number 1? Look here, computation of outward tax. Okay, we will make 3 columns, like particulars, IGST, CGST, SGST. Clear? No problem. Okay. Now, say for example, this outward supply, like this supply is interstate. So what I'm going to write is, I'm going to write here interstate. IGST is going to be 1 lakh. We have already considered this here. 1 lakh. Okay. Then CGST is nothing and SGST is nothing. Okay, because there is only one supply. Can I say I can make a total now? IGST 1 lakh, CGST 0 and SGST also 0. And this is my outward tax. Second table is going to be in relation to what? ITC. Now in ITC, sometimes they will give you some opening ITCs as well. Like they can give you some opening ITCs. Say for example, 1 lakh rupees is your no. Say for example, okay, this is a separate example altogether. Okay, this is just an example that they have assumed some opening ITCs of 10,000, 20,000 and 30,000. Okay, tax paid under, okay, this is your opening ITC. When will you get the ITC of 75,000? Can I say whenever you will make a payment, everybody? Whenever you will make a payment of the 75,000, then only you are going to get the ITC? Yes. So please understand one thing. In the third table, please understand one thing. In the third table, you are going to make a table like computation of net GST liability. In the third table of computation, you are going to write the first point as GST payable under reverse charge mechanism. And here, against this payment of 75,000, there will not be any kind of utilization. So, which means you have to pay this 75,000 to the government. Are you understanding this? There is no problem. So what I'm going to do is computation of net GST liability, particulars IGST, CGST, SGST, GST payable under reverse charge mechanism. After that, interstate inward supply, I will write IGST 75,000. Can I utilize any of the ITCs against this? No. That's why I'm going to write one small line or draw one small line below that. So you will understand that you are not going to utilize any ITC against this. So can I say in this month I'm making a payment of 75,000? Can I say in this month I'm making a payment of 75,000? Yes. So if I'm making a payment of 75,000, I should get the ITC? Yes. Now you will say that in this month I paid 75,000. So maybe in the next month I will get the ITC of 75,000. Right? But government said no. If you are paying 75,000 in the current month, don't worry, you take the ITC in the current month itself. Which means you put it in table number 3 first as tax liability, as payment, compulsory payment. And since you are showing it in table number 3, you are going to show it in table number 2, because since you are going to make a mandatory payment as 75,000, so in the same return you are going to make a payment. So you are thinking that you will get the ITC of 75 in the next month. Why to wait for the next month? You can utilize this 75,000 ITC against the current month only, or in the current month only. So that's why it will fall under table number 3 as payable. And since it is there as payable in table number 3, it will automatically come as ITC in table number 2. That is tax paid under RCM. That is going to be 75,000. And this is all assumed. 10,000, 20, 30 is just an assumption. Assumed figures. Main point is 75. Is everybody clear with the treatment of RCM? Is everybody clear with the treatment of RCM? Sid. Thank you. Super. And whenever we will solve the questions, no, we will understand it in a better way. Okay. And then computation of net GST liability. I will get it here. Computation. GST payable under RCM. Uh, then other cases, outward tax. Okay. Focus here. Focus here. Focus here. We are done with the first point of outward tax, computation of outward tax. In that, we did particulars, IGST, CGST, SGST, right? I will write the total here. After that, computation of ITC, correct? In computation of ITC, there are again four columns: particulars, IGST, CGST, and SGST. In that, opening ITC and other ITCs. I will get the total of ITCs, that is 85,000, 20,000, and 30,000. Okay, no problem. Now you come to the third point, that is computation of net GST liability. You please understand, particulars, IGST, CGST, and SGST. Now GST payable under reverse charge mechanism. GST payable under reverse charge mechanism. First, you are going to write this. So interstate inward supply, it is going to be 75,000, which you are going to pay. Correct? Since you are not going to utilize anything, against 75, you are going to draw one line below that, so that you are aware that against this you are not going to utilize anything. Okay. Now, second point, that is other cases. In other cases, normal point, outward tax minus ITC. You first write your outward tax. You go to the first point, 1 lakh, 0 and 0. 1 lakh, 0 and 0. And in ITC, let's see, in ITC, how much ITC do you have? 80,000, 85,000, 20,000 and 30,000. 85,000, 20,000 and 30,000. Correct? See, you are going to present like this, otherwise it will be a problem, okay? Okay. Now, first, what you are going to do? Utilize the IGST. So first of all, you are going to write 85,000 here, nil and nil. Is your IGST ITC 0? Yes, IGST ITC 0. Then you'll go to CGST ITC. Now CGST say, will you be able to utilize 15,000 rupees? Yes, 0 and 0. And here you will not utilize anything. Don't, please don't utilize any of these amounts against 75. Okay. Okay, fine. So it will become 0. So this will become 0, but it will be taxable as 75. So the amount which will be taxable as 75, and net GST payable or net GST is going to be IGST 75,000, nil and nil. DT new batch will not be there for May 26. I will take only practice batch for DT, no regular batch. For May 26 onwards. Is everybody clear with this? Okay. Now, I hope you have understood this. Now we'll start solving the questions. You will be in a better position to understand how to write it on a piece of paper, right? So we will also write the working notes and everything. You'll be very comfortable. But before we move ahead, I want you to just note down the format ones. Can you please note down the format ones in your notebook? And you can just write format of writing answers of GST liability. Format of writing answers of GST liability. And there is no question, just for the format purpose, I just want you to write it. Nice. Just take out a notebook, please, and please write down the format of writing GST liability answers. What done? You wrote everything. Thank you. Thank you. In IGST, I have written 75 because in as inward, I have considered this as interstate. That's why it's IGST. Myth I'll announce today. Today I'll announce for GST crackers as well. Yash, all our model test paper question of DT as well. Shreet is already on YouTube. Are you done? Which email? Yes. Chalo. Let's move ahead with the next question. Okay. Come to question number one. Come to question number one. Vishnu Private Limited, a registered supplier of goods and services at Kolkata, has furnished the following information for the month of February. Okay. Intrastate. Okay. And you are going to get this big question, but in this big question, you just need to identify what is table number one, what is table number two, what is table number three. That's it. Okay. Understand? Intrastate supply of taxable goods, including 1 lakh rupees, received as advance in January. The invoice for the entire sale value is issued on 15th of February. Again, we will read. This is for which month? This is for February month. Very important in GST liability questions. You first identify the month, that is February. Okay. Intrastate supply. Intrastate supply of taxable goods, which is it is going to be in table number one, everybody. Okay. Including 1 lakh as received as advance in January. The invoice for the entire sale value is issued on 15th of February in the current one. Can you tell me how much amount? I understood that it will be in table number one. It will be in table number one. I want to ask you one thing. How much amount will be taxable in the month of February? How much amount will be taxable in the month of February? I had received 1 lakh as advance. I had received 1 lakh as advance in January, in the last month. Absolutely right. The entire 4 lakhs is going to be taxable. But you'll say, sir, but I had received 1 lakh in Jan. So don't you think I must have paid I must have paid GST of 1 lakh rupees in the month of January? You can get this doubt, right? That you had received 1 lakh rupees in the month of Jan, that is in the last month. Don't you think I must have paid 1 lakh rupees at the time of receipt? No, I must not have paid GST in the last month. Why? Because this is taxable goods. It is a example of taxable goods. And in case of taxable goods, please remember time of supply chapter. In time of supply chapter, there were certain points that in a time of supply chapter as supply of goods, forward charge mechanism, 2 points: date of issue of invoice and last date to issue invoice, whichever is earlier. Can I say in this, there is no point of date of payment. There is no point of date of payment, which means in supply of goods, it does not matter whether you have received the amount as advance or no. You are not going to pay any GST basis the amount which you have received. And that's why whatever advance you have received in the last month, as per the time of supply chapter, the GST must not have triggered in the last month. And that's why it will be taxable in the current month entirely. So everything is going to be taxable. Understanding? So entire 4 lakhs will be taxable in the current month. Now, one more point. What if I say this is taxable services? Now, if you're not able to recollect time of supply, you go to time of supply chapter. What if I say it is taxable services? Now, if I say it is taxable services, there were two parts: forward charge mechanism, reverse charge mechanism. Say let's stay in forward charge mechanism. Whether the invoice has been raised within the time limit, yes. Whether the invoice has been raised not within the time limit, yes. Right? In both the cases, in time of supply answer, like whichever is earlier, there is one point of date of payment. There is one point of date of payment. So if it is taxable services, this 1 lakh rupees must be taxed in the month of Jan. Must be taxed in the month of Jan. And that's why in the month of Feb, I would have considered only 3 lakhs. That's why time of supply chapter is also very important in this, because when is the GST liability getting triggered is very important. In case of services, in time of supply formula, there is one point of date of payment. And that's why whenever I must have received 1 lakh, at that point of time, I must have paid the GST to the government. Correct? Understanding? But since this is goods here, in goods, there is no question of date of receipt. And that's why we will not tax it in the month of Jan. Everything will be taxed in the month of February. I hope you're clear. Let's move ahead with the next point. Purchase of goods from a composite dealer registered in Kolkata. Now, this is inward supply, but it is from a composite dealer. Can I say if it is from if it is from a composite dealer, he must not be charging GST or must not have charged GST because he's a composite dealer. So that's why there will not be any GST in this case. There will not be any entry in table number 2 in this case. Understanding? Let's come to point 3. Services provided by way of labor contracts for repairing a residential unit, single residential unit, otherwise than as a part of residential complex, and it is an intrastate transaction. Can you tell me whether it is taxable, not taxable? What will be the answer? Very small point, but important point. You will say, sir, services, it is pure labor service, which is provided for single residential unit, otherwise than as a part of residential complex. Please understand, if you read only this much, you will say that it is going to be exempt from tax. But this is not for the construction of single residential unit. It is for repairing a single residential unit. If you remember, while doing this particular exemption chapter, I had stopped for a while and I had told you specifically to write this point as O point, if you remember. I had told you to make this as O point because this can come in the exam. So this has come in the exam. And that's why repairing is not exempt from tax. If it is a construction of single residential unit, then it is going to be exempt. So it is definitely going to be taxable. Of course, it is my outward supply. So this will be fall under table number 1, and entire amount of 1 lakh will be taxable. Right? And this is going to be what? Intra. The first one, 4 lakhs, is inter or intra? Intra. That is also intra. Yo. Okay. Come to point number 4. Membership of a club availed for employees working in the factory. Membership of a club availed for employees working in the factory. What do you think? Can I say ITC is going to be blocked for membership unless it is a statutory obligation? But I can't see any statutory obligation information here, right? So it is going to be what? Blocked. And we will write a working note for this. Write a working note for this. Next point. Goods Transport Agency received from GTA. Goods Transport Services, sorry. Goods Transportation Services received from a GTA, and GTA has exercised the option to pay tax at the rate of 12%. I want to ask you one thing, whether this is FCM or RCM. Whether this is FCM or RCM. Yes, it is taxed under FCM because he has charged 12%. Right? So it is taxed under FCM. So answer would have changed if it is RCM. If they say 5% and with RCM, then in that case, I had to pay GST to the government so that table number 3 and table number 2 point will come. But here it will not come. So here, normal point table number 2, right? Inward supply. And I will get the ITC of 2 lakh into 12%. That is 24,000. And this is interstate, so IGST. Perfect. Point number 6. Interstate services provided by way of training in sports. Interstate services provided by way of training in sports. Training in sports. It is going to be what? Taxable. So it will come under table number 1, and it will be taxable as 10,000. Like 10,000 is the value. Normal GST will be applicable. Then interstate security services provided to Bharat Higher Secondary School for their annual day function organized in Kaman Auditorium outside the school campus. Outside the school campus. Security services provided to school outside the school campus. This is going to be taxable. This is going to be taxable because it is outside the 15,000. This is again part, yeah, table number A. Inputs to be received in 4 lots, out of which second lot was received during the month. I'm sure that you know this, that you will get the ITC only after the receipt of the last lot. Since this was the second lot, I will not get the ITC for this. I will not get the ITC for this. Clear? Okay. After that, they have given the information of company has following ITCs with at the beginning of the tax period, like whatever ITCs they have given, 57,000, nil, and 50,000. Yes. Okay. Rates of GSTs they have given. Now we just need to identify the answer. Okay. Now, how to identify the answer? Table number 1, you identify how many table number 1 information is there. Table number 1 information is there. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 points will come in table number 1. This 1 point will come in table number 2 as ITC, and the opening balance will come as ITC. So 2 points in table number 2, 4 points in table number 1. Right? Okay. Now take out your notebook and let's start writing the answer. Why not allowed, Yash? Be it FCM, RCM, in both the cases, ITC will be allowed. Okay. Please write question number 1 because it is from model test paper number 1, right? So question number 1. Write MDP, model test paper. Table 1, computation of outward tax make 3 columns. So there will be 4, right? 4 points. So make it accordingly. So write particulars, IGST, CGST, and use the same format, IGST, CGST, and SGST. Same sequence. First of all, I will write intrastate supply of goods. Intrastate supply of goods. Correct? Come to the question and see. Intrastate, 4 lakhs, right? So 4 lakhs, what is the GST rate? GST rate is 18%. So 9 and 9. So 4 lakhs into 9 and 9, right? Intra. So it is going to be what? 36,000. And 36,000. Point number 2, repair, right? Repair service of single residential unit. It was 1 lakh. So 1 lakh into 9 and 9. Again, it was intra. So 9,000, 9,000. Point number 3, training in sports, right? Interstate supply of training in sports. So this is inter. What is the value? The value is going to be 10,000, right? So 10,000 into 18. So 1,800. Point number 4. Interstate security service. Interstate security service given to. So we will write a note and everything. So outside the premise is always taxable, na? Like it will be taxable. So what is the value? It is going to be 15,000. So 15,000 into 18%. So it will be 2,700. Make it very neat and clean. Okay. So your total outward tax 4,500. Here it will be 45,000. Here it will be 45,000. Simple. Right. Point number 2. Computation of input tax credit. Again, 3 columns. here there are only 2 points, right? Opening and one ITC. So make your column that big. Particulars, IGST, CGST, and SGST. Okay. Then we'll write opening ITC. Now, while writing the opening ITC, be very careful. Now they have given like CGST, SGST, and IGST, and we are writing like IGST, CGST, and SGST. So here there is a possibility of making silly mistakes. So avoid this. First, we need IGST. So 50,000, 57,000, and 0. 50, 57, 0. Plus services received from GT. It is what 24 we had already seen, right? 12% of 2 lakhs. So now again there is a silly mistake point where you will compute 18% of 2 lakh. But no, they have already given, right? 12%. So 2 lakh into 12%. So it will be 24,000. Enter. So total ITC will get as 74,000, 57,000, nil. So you're right, total input tax credit. And ITC, you can write it in the exam. There is no problem. There is absolutely no problem. Computation of net GST liability here. Is there any RCM supply? No, right? But still, for our format understanding perspective, we'll write it so that it will be staying in your mind. We'll still make the format as RCM in it, even though there is no point of RCM in this. So write particulars, IGST, CGST, SG. Uh, Roman 1, tax payable under RCM. It will be nil, 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 dash, 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 or nil, nil, nil. Anything is fine. Tax payable under forward charge mechanism. Right? Underline this. Please underline this. Then you write outward tax minus ITC. Outward tax, you'll write fully up. Outward tax. What is your outward tax? Outward tax, go to the first table and write 4,500, 45,000, and 45,000. 4,500, 45,000, and 45,000. Less input tax credit, right? With underline ITC. Write it very neatly. IGST dot, make a dot, write IGST, CGST, SGST. Use this format to write the answer. Otherwise, you'll get confused. against, like, besides this, write the balances which you have. Go to the second table, 74, 57, and nil. 74, 57, and nil. So I will write 74,000, 57,000, and nil. Now it is normal utilization. Can I say, first of all, IGST 74 will be utilized against 4,500? So write 4,500. You will be left with what? You will be left with what? 60, 68,000, sorry, 69,500, right? 69,500. So against what will you use it? Against what? Now just see whether you have sufficient ITC, whether you have sufficient ITC for CGST. For CGST, you have a sufficient ITC. Understanding? So if you have sufficient ITC, then of course you will not use IGST of 74 against CGST. You will use against SGST. I hope everybody is clear. I hope everybody is clear. So I will use entirely 45,000 against this one. So first I used 4,500 against this. Whatever was left, that is 69,500. I used that against SGST. I'm still left with something. I'm still left with something. Understanding? So out of 74, I have utilized only 49,500. But I have 74. So I still have 24,500, everybody. Can I say I still have 24,500, everybody, of IGST balance? So I will use this IGST balance of 24,500. So for making you understand, first I used against this, second against this, and third against this, so that you'll understand what did I do and how did it. Right? You made the IGST balance zero now, correct? Okay. Now you go to CGST. Now CGST, what is the balance which is left after 45? Can I say 20,500? Can I say 20,500 is left? You can use it against the balance. That is, here it will be nil, 20,500, and again it will be nil. Simple. So again, like, CGST balance is zero. I am left with CGST ITC. I will see that afterwards. Here also it will be. So what will be the tax liability? So here it will be zero, nil. Here also it will be nil. And here also it will. So I will write net GST line. Yes, thank you so much. Is everybody clear? We are still not yet done with this, because we are left with the working notes. Yes, 36,500 will be carried forward. Absolutely right. So, right, next point, balances to be carried forward. IGST nil, sorry, IGST nil, CGST 36,500, and SGST, correct? Right, working note number one. Sir, are working notes mandatory? 100% yes. So whenever you will feel, whenever whatever entry you have left, you have to write a working note for that. Otherwise, institute will assume that you did not know, that's why you left. Right? So first of all, can I say I will have to write about this because I have left this point? Since it is a composite dealer, he will not charge the GST. That's why it will. I will not get the ITC, of course, because there is no GST. Right? So a second point will be of this repairing. There is no IT. There is no exemption which is available. I will write about this. Then I will write about membership because I have left that also. So I will write about lot also because I will get the ITC on the last lot. Everything for everything, we're going to write the working. Let's start. Value column, your call. If you have time, you can write it. If you don't write it, is okay. Yes, it is mandatory to utilize IGST fully first. Then only you go ahead with the next one. Okay, write working note number one. Let's write two questions. I'm sure that you will have utmost confidence in this. They've give me also the chance for solving two questions and give yourself also the chance of two questions. And after two questions, you'll be like, get the question. Since the goods, since the goods which are purchased are from composite dealer, comma, there would be no GST charged by such composite dealer, charged by such composite, and thus we have ignored the same while computing ITC. While computing ITC. Second point is in relation to repairs, right? Repair service. So write what is exempt. Pure labor service. Pure labor service provided with respect to construction of single residential unit is exempt from tax. Full stop. However, comma, the repairs of single residential unit is taxable. Working note number three. So we have written about composite dealer. We have written about single residential unit. Now membership, right? So blocked. It is blocked. We have to write GST paid on membership fee is blocked under section 17(5) of the CGST Act 2017 unless it is a statutory. It is a statutory obligation. Working note number 4. So membership we wrote. GTA is fine. Training and sports is fine. Security service we have to write, right? If it since it is outside the school campus, that's why it is taxable. Yes, correct. Security services provided to school outside the school premise would not be exempt from tax. Full stop. However, if such services are given are given inside the school premise, comma, it would be exempt from tax. It would be exempt from tax. Now we have to write about the lot, right? When the goods are received in lots, comma, ITC is available only on the receipt of the last lot. Just write one more point. One second. Let me just make some space. We have not written anything about the time of supply, right? Right? Working note 6, last point. Time of supply in case of goods is earlier of. And if you remember, I had told you in the lecture also that while writing the time of supply answers, don't write this or this, whichever is earlier. You have to look very professional. So you have to write like in time of supply in case of goods is earlier of this and this. Okay. Earlier of date of invoice and last date to issue invoice. Full stop. Thus, any advance received would be irrelevant for determining time of for determining time of, and this is how you're going to present the answer. Now just look at the answer. How beautiful it is looking. This is how you should present the answer, which is there in your as your first question, right? With the working notes and everything. Now, right now, don't think about this that will I get time and everything. You have to identify what is required and you have to put that much time and you have to ensure that you are getting some good speed after practice. See, right now, I am directing you, I'm guiding you that how to write the answer. If you watch and go for the exam, again, you will be blank. You have to write down certain questions by writing the working notes and everything so that your writing speed will be fast. I want your writing speed will be I want your writing speed to be very fast so that you'll be able to present it well and you will be able to complete the paper in time, right? Okay, fine. This is your first question. Have some water. Have some water. Before we move ahead with the next question, have some water. Muska. Nice. That's fine. Section numbers are not very important. Don't worry about it. Nobody is going to ask you or cut marks for the section numbers. Don't worry. Is everyone ready? Is everyone ready? Now, this will be a good practice. Again, we will solve everything along with the working notes and everything. So that from the next question, we will just solve the we'll write down the three tables, right? Okay. But this will be a proper full-fledged question, which we will solve. Mr. Nandan Lal, registered under GST, is engaged in supplying services as discussed in table below in Hyderabad. Hyderabad. This is also important for identifying intra. He has furnished the following information with respect to services provided or received by him during the month of February. This is also for February. Okay. What is the first thing which we are going to do once we get the data? Table number one, table number two, or table number three? Right? Okay. Let's move ahead. Carnatic music performance given by Mr. Nandan Lal to promote a brand of ready-made garments. What is Carnatic? You can say classical. Now, classical music performance. Don't read half. They have said that for promotion of brand. Since it is for promotion of brand, it is always and always what? Going to be taxable. So it is always taxable. So I will write table number one and it is taxable as 1.4 lakhs. And intra. Okay. They have specifically mentioned that all the transactions mentioned above are intrastate supplies unless otherwise specified. Okay, this is intra. Correct? Okay, come to the next question point. Uh, Outdoor catering services availed inward for marketing event organized for prospective customers. Which table and will I get the ITC? Yes, this is model test paper 2. Absolutely right. The ITC on outdoor catering service is going to be blocked unless it is for further supply, right? So, or it is a statutory obligation. So it is not the case. That's why it will not come anywhere. ITC will be blocked. Superb. We'll write a working note for this. Services of transportation of students provided to HSMG College, providing education as a part of curriculum for obtaining recognized qualification. Transportation service provided to school is exempt, but here HSMG College, that's why it is going to be what? Taxable. It is going to be what? Taxable. So again, this will form part of your table number one. And again, intrastate, 1 lakh intrastate. Right? Since this is college, this is taxable. Legal services availed for official purpose. Sorry. Legal services availed for official purpose from an advocate located in Chennai and which is an interstate transaction. Legal services availed. Who am I? Registered under GST in Hyderabad. Can I say if I'm availing legal services, it is going to be taxable? Because if you remember, they have mentioned that if any advocate is providing service to a business entity whose turnover is in excess of 20 lakhs or 10 lakhs or 40 lakhs, as the case may be, it is taxable under reverse charge mechanism. Now, this point will come of reverse charge mechanism. So, can I say this will come under table number 3? And that's why table number 2, everybody? Because this on this amount, I have availed the service. I have to make a payment of tax. So, this will fall under table number 3. And since it is falling under table number 3, I will get the ITC of that in table number 2. I hope you're clear why did I write table 3 first and table 2. In the presentation, we'll normally write. But since it is there in table 3, that's why we'll write it in table 2 as well. I hope you're clear. And this is interstate. Services provided to IFMP Bank as a business correspondent with respect to accounts in a branch of the bank located in urban area. If it is in rural area, it would have been exempt from tax. But this is in urban area, so which is going to be taxable. Now, the point is, business correspondent is providing service. This will be taxable under RCM or FCM. I had told you one very simple technique to remember, BCBF point in RCM chapter. Do you remember that? BF is always down and BC is always right. If you remember, right? So in this case, BF was here, bank was here, and BC was here. So BC is providing service to bank. It is under forward charge mechanism. Very good. So it will be taxable under forward charge mechanism. So it will be what? Intra. Correct. Recovery agent services provided to a car dealer. We have specifically discussed this point. Recovery agent services provided to a car dealer. It is going to be taxable under forward charge mechanism. Why? Because it is not a bank. If it is given to a bank, it is taxable under RCM. Recovery agent service is given to bank, NBFC, it is going to be taxable under RCM. But since it is given to a car dealer, it is going to be FCM. Very good. So it is going to be taxable under FCM. This is one. This is also one. Superb. I'm very happy. General insurance taken on car, seating capacity is 5, used for official purposes. My inward supply, general insurance taken on car. So if at the time of purchase of car, if I'm getting the ITC, I will get the ITC for other expenses as well. So where the seating capacity is 5, right? I'm in which business? Engage in supplying services. Okay. So basically, at the time of purchase of car, I'm not getting the ITC, and that's why for the general insurance also, whatever GST I will pay, I will not get the ITC. So here the ITC will be blocked. Correct? So all inward, outward supplies are given, all conditions necessary for availing the ITC is given, turnover is given, and compute the net GST payable in cash. So here they have not mentioned minimum GST payable. Of course, but it is very much logical to assume that they are asking for minimum GST payable, right? So there are no opening balances here. So how many points in table number one? How many points in table number one? 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 points in table number one. In table number 2, there will be only 1 point of this legal services, and in table number 3, normal computation. Can we start writing it, please? Okay, right. Question 2. Question 2. Table 1, computation of outward tax. Four points, right? So make it a little big. Particulars, IGST, CGST, and SGST. Number 1, promotion of brands of ready-made garment. What was the value? 140. It is intra, so 99. It is 12,600. Super. Come to point 2. Transportation of students to college. This is also taxable, right? So it will be 1 lakh and intrastate. So 9,000, 9,000, everyone. Services provided to bank. By BC. Here it is 2 lakhs intra, right? So 2 lakhs into 9 and 9. So 18, 18. Point 4. Recovery agent. That is also intra. Recovery agent service to car dealer. Okay. Let's increase the speed. What is the amount of this? 15,000. So it will be 1350. So total outward tax dash your This will be 40,950. Then point two, computation of input tax credit. Computation of input tax. Here there is only one, so make this table small. There is no opening, right? But we'll write as opening 0 because we need to remember the format, right? That's particulars, IGST, CGST, SGST. So we'll write opening ITC dash 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 legal services availed. What was the value? 175. This is interstate. So 175 into 18%. It will be 31,500 dash and dash. Total ITC be 0.3. Computation of net GST liability. I hope everybody is writing with me. Particulars, IGST, CGST, SGST. Now there is a point of RCM, right? So write number one, tax payable and how much? 31,500. Please underline the. Please underline this. Underline before below this. Point two, tax payable under forward charge method. Underline outward tax less ITC underline IGST, CGST, SGST. Write the balances of outward tax from table 1 dash 4950 4950. Can you write the ITC balances? 31,500. Only one. Can I utilize half? Everyone? So 15,750 dash 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 dash. So your outward, don't forget this are 31,500. You have to pay 31,500 here. Then you have to pay 25,200 here. So net GST liability. Super. Let's write the working notes. Small working notes. Services provided as a brand ambassador is taxable under G. Working at 2. GST paid on services of outdoor catering would be blocked under Section 17(5) of the CGST Act 2000. Services of transportation of students provided to school will be exempt from tax. Full stop. However, if such service is provided to college is taxable. Is taxable. Legal services availed would be taxable under, okay, availed by a business entity, like by a registered business entity, would be taxable under reverse charge mechanism. Services provided by business correspondent to bank would be taxable under forward charge mechanism. Full stop. If such service is in relation to rural branch, comma, it would be exempt from. Last two working notes. Working note 6. recovery agent service given to banks, NBFCs is going to be taxable under RCM. So recovery agent services provided to bank or NBFC would be taxable under reverse charge mechanism, comma, however, comma, provided to any other person would be taxable under forward charge, would be taxable under forward charge mechanism. Last one. GST paid on general insurance is blocked as such insurance is taken on and ITC on purchase of such car is blocked. Now you can explain a lot in this case, but it is okay if you explain this much because you won't be having that much time to write the proper full page answer for this, right? And that's why I've restricted myself with this working note, like this much of work. Is everyone clear with this question? Is everyone clear with this question? Are you understanding the questions are not difficult? The questions are not at all difficult. You just lacked in understanding that how to present the answer. That was the main point. That you were not understanding how to present the answer. But I hope you have understood how to present. Because see, we will solve we will solve five questions. Yeah, six questions. The same questions are not going to come. So what you'll have to learn from these sessions is going to be that how to read the question, how to implement your provisions in the question, how to present, how to start the writing the answers, what will be the format of writing the answers, and how much to write the working note. Yes, everyone? No, Anisha, no. Okay, right? So before we take a break, I'm going to discuss one more question with you guys, and then we will take a break. No. So Vijayawada marathon has been cancelled due to XYZ reasons. So I'm not coming to Vijayawada this time. And I don't want to see you for the marathon next time, which I will take. So please clear this time. Right. Okay. Yes. So I'm discussing question number 3. And we are going to discuss, we are not going to do working notes, but at least we'll discuss and get the answer, right? Okay. Now, in this question, and after this question, we'll take a break. Is everybody ready? This is your question number 3. Uh, what will be there in this question? Table number 1, table number 2, table number 3. Just need to identify this much. Okay. Okay. And this you are going to try on your own. Let's see. And we are going to discuss. Let's see. Messrs. ABC and Company, a chartered accountancy firm, has its office in Bangalore. It is registered under GST in the state of Karnataka. In the month of April, it supplied, which means outward, statutory audit service to Dhruv manufacturers of Karnataka for 1,20,000. Okay. So this is your outward supply of Karnataka. Where okay, I'm also registered in Karnataka. So can I say this is going to be intrastate? So table number 1, intrastate. Easy. Further, it charged 1,60,000 for the ITR services provided to the recipients located in Karnataka in the said month. Can I say again 160 intra table number 1. It also received 1,80,000. It also received 1,80,000. Amount he has received, not the services. He has received rupees 1,80,000 for internal audit services provided to clients registered in Mumbai. So again, this will fall under table number 1. Everyone. And this is registered in Mumbai. So this is what? Inter. Easy. So first point 120 into 9 and 9, 160 into 9 and 9, and 180 into 18. I'm assuming the rates of GST are 18%. 1 second. Yeah, 18%. This is a 10. Every question is a 10-mark question. Okay. So we know now what is going to be there in my table number 1. Come to point 2. Messrs. ABC and Company has also provided the following information regarding expenses incurred in the month of April for the purpose of providing the taxable service. Now, can I say they are talking about he has spent certain amount, expenses incurred? Can I say he has spent, which means it all the information is there, which is in relation to table number 2, everyone. Expenses incurred, which means it is his inward supply. If it is his inward supply, table number 2 will be applicable. Right? Okay. Number 1. Membership fee of a club located in Bangalore paid for a senior partner of the firm. Membership fee. Is there anything which is mentioned about statutory obligation? No, right? Not written anywhere about the statutory obligation. So it is going to be what? Blocked. It is going to be what? Blocked. Everybody. Then rent paid to landlord who is registered in the state of Karnataka for office located in Karnataka. He has paid the rent and they have asked us to read the note below. Landlord did not upload his GSTR1 within the prescribed time, resulting in the GST amount not being reflected in the 2B. Do you think, okay, rent paid, I should get the ITC? Yes, but that person has not filed his GSTR1. That's why it is not getting reflected in my GSTR2B. Can I say that again this will be blocked? Again this will be blocked. It is not allowed, right? I will not blocked, but it is not allowed. Don't say it is blocked. ITC is not allowed in this case. Okay. 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 Again, very important. Don't say it is blocked because it will not be blocked. It will not be allowed because when you say blocked, it is 17.5. Okay. Professional fee paid to Mr. Jamna Prasad, a practicing chartered accountant, for professional services availed, and the TDS is deducted under section 194J, which means it is a professional service and I'm not the employee of the particular company. Or that person is also not there. So basically, it is not, there is no employment. And I have paid professional fee to Mr. Jamna Prasad. What do you think? Will I get the ITC in this? I will definitely get the ITC, right? I will definitely get the ITC, right? Yes. So this will fall under table number. Okay. Air conditioner purchased for office purpose. This also I will get the ITC. Not a supply. No, it is a supply. No, this is a supply because if it is not under employment. If it is under employment, I would have said it is not a supply. But this will be considered a supply. Is everybody clear? That's it. Now, what you are going to do is you are going to draw three tables. Table number one, table number two, table number three. I'm going to show it as full screen. You're going to solve it completely from table number one till the GST liability on your own. Okay, we have discussed everything. Just don't make any silly mistakes in inter and intra. That is the only request I can have. And write the good presentation, write with good presentation, and get the final answer. We'll discuss the final answer. Is it okay for everybody? Is it okay for everyone? Yes, give me 1 minute. I will just make it a full screen and then you can start writing. Not the notes, only the three tables. Because notes, you understood that it is a one liner or two liner maximum notes. So don't write the notes, but the three tables. Cool. Okay. So I'm giving you 7 minutes to write this answer. I'm giving you 7 minutes to write this answer. With a timer, we'll write, so it will be a good practice for you. Okay. And the GST rates are going to be 9%, 9%, and 18%. It is written 9, 9, and 18. Okay. Okay. So your time starts. 1 second. Now. Okay. Mm. Have you got the answer? Okay. Maximum people are saying 32,400 CGST and 4,200 as SGST. So your answer can be different, like basis the utilization and everything, but the final answer, like if you total it, that should not change. So I have already written the answer here. Just check whether your outward supply is right or no. Whether your outward supply is right or no. Just check 32,400, 25,200, 25,200. Right? Your ITC comes to 0, 21,000, and 21,000. Right? Point number three, that liability, it is coming as 32,400 as IGST, 4,200 as CGST, and 4,200 as SGST. Is everybody clear with this? Is everybody clear with this? Has everybody got the perfect answer? Getting some good confidence in this? Super. Super. Okay. Now, do you want to solve one more question before we take a break? Very simple question. Very simple question for 10 marks. So basically, three more questions I need to discuss. We will discuss this. We will discuss this, and rest of the two questions we will make three tables. So can we discuss this before we go? Before we take a break, everyone? It will take 10 to 12 minutes because I want you to try this first, and then we will move ahead. Nothing. What will be the working note for a professional fees paid? That it is in relation to business, so he is eligible for the ITC. There is no uh, block of ITC, right? Yes. Okay. Perfect. Let's move ahead with the fourth, fourth, right? 1 second. Yeah. Fourth question. Vishwanath Limited, a registered supplier in Karnataka, has provided the following details for supply of one machine. They have given the information for one machine. List price is given, tax levied is given, everything is given. Vishwanath Limited received 5,000 as price linked subsidy from NGO on sale of each such machine. The price of 80,000 of the machine is after considering such subsidy. Okay, 1 second. Can we start computing? Can we start computing uh, the value of supply for one machine? List price of the machine supplied. Of course, 80,000 will come. Tax levied by local authority on sale of such machine. So any taxes other than GST will be added to value of supply. So this will also be added, right? Discount of 2% on the list price. Please try to understand. This 2% will be on 80,000. Correct? Okay. After that, that we will reduce afterward. Packing expenses for safe transportation charged separately in the invoice. Of course, it will be added. Correct? Okay. Vishwanath Limited received 5,000 as price linked subsidy from NGO on sale of each such machine. I had given you one trick. If you have learned GST or value of supply from me, I had given you one trick that whenever they will mention about subsidy, right, after considering the subsidy, it is already considered, which means it is already reduced. Which means, please understand, this subsidy received from NGO is after considering such if the price of 80,000 is after considering such subsidy, which means the subsidy has been reduced. Do you think NGO subsidy need to be reduced? Do you think NGO subsidy needs to be reduced? No, but it is already reduced, and that's why we will add 5,000 rupees. We will add 5,000 rupees. We will add 5,000 rupees. Understanding, because we have already reduced it. Super. So 5,000 will be added. What will be the value of supply for one machine? What will be the value of supply for one machine? It's 80 plus 6 plus 4 plus 5. So 95,000 everyone. Reduced by the discount. Discount will be 2% of 80,000, which means 1,600. So less 1,006 comes to 93,000. This is the value of supply for one machine. Perfect. Okay. During the month of February, Vishwanath Limited supplied 3 machines to intrastate customers. So 93,100 is for one machine. He has supplied 3 machines which are going to be intrastate. Correct? And one machine which is going to be interstate. Can I say everything? Everything will fall under table number 1. So it will be 93,400 into 3, and here 93,000, right? And this will fall under table number. Everyone, correct? Okay, this will be what? 2,80,200. Correct? And 93,400. On this, GST will be applicable. That is of, on this, can I say it will be 9% and 9%? 280,900 into 9%, 9%. And for 93,400, it is going to be 18%. Clear? Okay. So we got the data for table 1. Then Vishwanath Limited purchased inputs, that is intrastate, for 120 exclusive of GST for supplying the above 4 machines during the month. Can you tell me purchased inputs, right? For 120 exclusive of GST for supplying the above 4 machines during the month. This is not for one machine, this is for all the 4 machines. Okay. Now intrastate, so which is going to be 1,20,000 into 9% and 9%. Easy. And they have also given the opening balance. You have the data, you have everything. Can you try and identify? Can you draw table 1? Can you draw table number 2? They have given the opening. Basically, there will be 2 things in table 2. Table 2. Number 1, which is opening balance, and number 2, which is going to be second ITC. And table number 3 is going to be computation. Can you please do it? Can you please do it? I will first solve. Shri, please don't spam. Okay, I will block you. I will discuss once this is done. Okay, I'm telling you for the last time. You're doing it since the start. So I'm telling you for the last time. Otherwise, if you do it once again, I'll block you. Very sorry for this. Okay. Can you start solving? One second. I'll make it a full screen. Try. We are going to discuss this. Yes. What is the answer? Like 1230 SGST liability. Okay. Let's see. First of all, can I say we'll have to compute the outward tax? So outward tax is going to be what? 2,80,200 into 9% and into 9%. Right? 280,200 into 9% and 9%. I have to go to model test. Is it coming like this? So it is 25,212, 218, 25,218 and 16,812. Total answer is 25,218, 25,218 and 16,812. Has everybody got the outward tax like this? 25,218, 16,812. After that, you have some opening ITCs, right? So for the ITC, you have opening ITC of 18,000. Like in your notebook, you must have written 26 first, 18 and 4, right? And after that, I purchased also, right? Something. I purchased what? Goods, inputs, 1,20,000, and which is intrastate. So 9%, 9%. So 10, 18, and 10,800, 10,800. Intrastate. So total you must have got 26, 28,800, and 14,800 ITC, which you will utilize against what? Which you will utilize against this value 25,218, 25,218, 16,812. So first of all, we will use IGST ITC of 26,000 and we will utilize against IGST ka outward, so which is 16,812. So whatever will be left, I will use it against anything, because if you see, you have sufficient CGST ITC, you have sufficient CGST ITC, right? Okay, let's make it in our format. Let's write it in our format. You'll understand. IGST, CGST, SG. So outward tax comes to 16,812, 25,218, and 25,218. Less ITC, IGST, CGST, SGST. 26, 28,800, and 14,800. This format will become very simple for you, right? So basis this format, yeah, 14,800, 14,800. Now this is very simple. Now, first of all, you're going to use it against this. So 16,812. Okay. I still have the IGST. Yes. Now I can utilize it against CGST also. I can utilize it against SGST also. Now the point is, just see, do I have my do I have CGST ITC sufficient for utilizing the outward tax? Yes. My CG I have sufficient ITC of CGST to utilize completely against CGST outward tax. So I will not use the rest of the IGST against CGST. I will use it against SGST. Now, can I say out of 26,000, out of 26,000, 16,812 has been utilized. Correct? So some 9,000 rupees will be left. Sorry. So 9188. I will take that 9188 and use not against CGST, but I will use it against SGA. Now, is my ITC of IGST 0? Yes. You come to CGST now. I will use completely against 25218 dash and dash. Correct? And after that, how much will be the value after 25218? 14,800 entirely. 1 second. So after 25218 less 9188, so 17,030 is left. 17,030. So can I say I will use completely 14,800? So I will be left with 2230. Is there any mistake which I did? One second. 25218. 16,030. Correct. 16,030 minus 14,800. 1230. Correct. So here it will be nil. Here it will be nil. Here it will be 1. Right? Everybody. So 1230, everybody will get the answer as SGST. Yes. Getting some good confidence now. Okay. Now we have solved 4 questions. Now we are going to solve question number 5, like literally solve with working notes. And we are going to solve question number 7. That is going to be those three tables. And we are going to discuss question number 8. Okay. So these 3 questions are left. We are going to do for like these 3 questions today. So before that, we will take a break. And after that we will move ahead with the next session. So next session will be of approximately 1 hour, 1.5 hours max, not more than that. Okay, understood. But yes, so let's take a break of 5-7 minutes or 10 minutes maximum, but let's come on time so that we'll be able to finish on time. Okay, cool, guys, no problem. Come soon because next question is really good. You'll enjoy doing that question. Okay, chalo. Bye bye. See you. Take care. I'll see you in 10 minutes sharp and then we'll meet for the next session. Okay. Bye bye. See you. Take care. Bye. Yes, guys, let's start. Chalo, let's begin. Come to question number five. Question number five, which means model test paper number five. Uh, the point is Miss Shreya, proprietor of Happy Enterprise, a registered supplier of taxable goods and services in the state of West Bengal, pays GST under regular scheme, is not eligible for any threshold exemption. It provided the information for December. Okay. Outward supplies. Now they have made it very simple for us. They have given us the outward supply. They have given us the inward supply. Basically, this is talking about table number one. This is talking about table number two. Simple. Let's talk about this. Intrastate supply of goods to Messrs. Reliable and Sons. Can I say this will fall under table number one, and this is going to be intra. Correct. The second point is intrastate transfer of goods to its branch office in the state of West Bengal. I'm from West Bengal, and intrastate transfer of goods to its branch office in the state of West Bengal, and both places are under the same pan. What do you understand by this, and what will be the treatment for this? Let's discuss this. What's up, Tony? Bye. Now you will have to remember one concept from supply under GST. Now it is intrastate transfer of goods to its branch office, which means they are talking about distinct person. Okay. What is the meaning of distinct person? Say, for example, in the same state, for example, West Bengal, there is one office number one, there is one office number two. If both are registered, if both have taken separate registrations, they are not required to, because in one single state, you can take only one registration. But if you want to take two separate registrations, you can take. If they have taken two separate registrations in the same state, any transfer between them will be considered as deemed supply. Why? Because when in the same state, two offices are registered independently, both the offices are distinct persons. So any transaction between two distinct persons will be considered as deemed supply. Correct? Now, if I have only one common registration for both the offices, which is absolutely allowed, right? I have a common registration for both the offices. Then in that case, one and two are not distinct persons, right? And that's why any supply which is made by one and two will not be considered as deemed supply. Will not be considered as deemed supply because these two persons are not distinct persons. Is everybody understanding? Is everybody understanding? Simple. Look here. They have mentioned that intrastate transfer of goods to its branch office in the state of West Bengal, both places are under the same GSTIN, which means they have taken the common registry, which means one first office and second office are not distinct persons, and any transaction between non-distinct persons without consideration will not be considered as supply. So, can I say it will not be considered as supply? It will not be considered as supply, everyone. Okay. Then, permanent transfer of old computers to orphanage home without consideration and input tax credit was not availed on the same. Permanent transfer of old computers. So can I say again supply chapter will be applicable? Right? In that they have mentioned that if there is a transfer or disposal, it will be without consideration, it will be considered as deemed supply if three conditions are satisfied. There has to be transfer or disposal, it has to be permanent in nature, and ITC should be availed on that. If I have not taken the ITC, my out like without consideration supply will not be considered as supply. Which means transfer will not be considered as supply. Super. Advance received for future supply of management consultancy service to Mr. Shubham, intrastate supply. Can you tell me now what will happen with this advance? What will I do with this advance? Very good point. What will I do with this advance? It is a service. It is a service. If it is a service, time of supply will get triggered. The time of supply will get triggered. And that's why I will have to pay tax on the basis of receipt of payment, that is the advance receipt. So this will also fall under table number 1, which is going to be taxable, and this is going to be intra. Simple, no problem. So there will be only 2 points which will come in table 1, this and this. Simple, no problem. Come to inward supply, which is also intra. Purchase of taxable goods from registered suppliers. Of course, this will come in table number 2, right? And this is intra, right? Okay. Availed works contract service for repair of office building. Amount of repair was debited in P&L account. Very good point. If you have learned GST well, you will understand this. Repair of office building. So if you see ITC, if you remember our discussion in ITC, I had specifically given you this chart. I had specifically given you this chart under ITC, and the similar question I had given you. The repairs service taken from Lodha Builders of building, and GST paid is 1 lakh. Will I get the ITC of 1 lakh for the repairs? If it is treated as revenue expenditure, that is debited to P&L account, I will get the ITC. But if it is treated as capital expenditure, ITC will be blocked because the general law will be applicable. What is the general law? If it is taken for, if it is built for, if it is taken for building a movable property, ITC is available. If it is taken for immobile property, being plant and machinery, ITC is available. Being other than plant and machinery, ITC will be blocked. But this is for construction. For the repairs part, please understand, for the repairs part, if it is treated as revenue expenditure for the building, there will be no block of ITC, because block of ITC is there only for the capital expenditure. Only if it is an asset, then only it will be blocked. I know it is for building only, but is it for construction of building? No, it is for repair of building. What have you done with the amount of repairs? Have you considered that as an asset? If you have considered that as an asset, then in that case, ITC will be blocked, because treatment of building will be given to repairs also, right? But if it is treated as revenue expenditure, you will get the ITC, because blocked concept ITC ka concept is only not applicable to revenue expenditure. Understanding? Very good point. So here, will you get the ITC? Yes, you will get the ITC. Very good point. This is going to be Shimpal. Come to the next question point. Availed legal service from an advocate to represent the matter in the court related to collection of disputed proceeds of the customers. Can I say this will also be taxable in the reverse charge mechanism? So point number 3, like table number 3. And since it is getting payable, write it in table number 2 as well as ITC. Rate of CGST is given, SGST is given, IGST is given. So for goods, be very careful. For goods, it is 5%, and for services, it is 18%. Be very careful, okay? Both inward and outward supplies are exclusive of taxes. ITC has other conditions are fulfilled. Working note should form part, and net GST payable. 10 marks question. Can we start writing? Let's move ahead. Let's start writing this question. Right? Question number 5. Right? Question number 5. We will have some good speed now. Question 5. Table number 1. Computation of outward tax. Only 2 points were there if you remember. There were 2 points in outward supply. This 7 lakhs and 40,000. For rest of the points, we'll write working. Okay, particulars. IGST, CGST, SGST, right? Intrastate supply of goods, dash goods, right? So 5%. 7 lakhs into 5% and 5%. Sorry, 2.5 and 2.5. So it would be 17,500 and 17,500. Advance received for consultancy service given. This is a service, okay? Service 40,000. 40,000 into 9 and 9. So 36, right? 33,600. So it will be 21, 21, 1. Computation of input tax. Again, so how many points were there in ITC so that I will get the fair idea how much lines to leave. So I have 3 points. I have 3 points, right? Is there any opening? No, but we'll write opening because we should be getting comfortable with the format. Particulars, IGST, CGST, SGST. Opening ITC, nil, 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 plus purchase of taxable goods. Now again goods, that is 5%. That is 8 lakhs into 2.5 and 2.5. Purchase of taxable goods from registered supply. 2020, no? 20,000, 20,000. Plus works contract service for repair of building. This is a service now. What is the amount? 30,000, right? So 30,000 into 9 and 9, right? 9 and 9, which will be 2,700. Plus legal services availed, taxable under. So here it will be what? 4,500 and 4,500. What will be the total? Total will be 27,200. 27,200. The third table, computation of net GST liability. Your RCM point will also come. So IGST, CGST, SGST, right? Number one, it will be tax payable under RCM. 4,500, 4,000. Underline. Okay. Below this, you can write legal services. Below this, you can write legal services. I don't have space, that's why I'm not writing. But okay, wait. Legal service. Then tax payable under FCM. Outward tax. What is the total? 21,100, 21,100. Dash 21,100. Less input tax credit. In this, IGST, CGST, SGST. What is the total? 27,200, 27. Sorry, come here. Now, I hope you have understood why we have drawn that line. This line I'm talking about. So that you get that bifurcation, that you're not going to you go beyond this line to utilize the ITC, right? So otherwise, you can do that silly mistake that you're utilizing this against this end. Now we will utilize this. Very simple. Like you can use no ITC of IGST. Then dash 21,100 dash 21. So it will be nil. After that 4,500 and 4,000. Simple, very neat and clean. Is it looking? Okay. Balance of ITC carried forward. IGST, there is no balance only, so nil. CGST is going to be 6,100. And for SGST, it is 6,001. Okay, we'll write the working notes. Here there will be good big working notes. Why? Because we'll have to explain certain things, like what is distinct person, everything. So that's why. And the question is also very like small. That's why you can spend time in writing working note. And that's why they have kept the question small so that you will have to spend more time in working note. Okay, right? Any transaction between two distinct persons is considered as deemed supply. Under section 7 bracket 1 bracket C, head with schedule 1 of the CGST Act 2007. If two offices are registered independently in the same state, are regarded as deemed distinct persons. Regarded as deemed distinct persons. However, comma, in the present case, two offices in West Bengal are registered in the common GSTIN and thus these are not deemed distinct persons. Full stop. Consequently, comma, any transfer between them would not be considered as deemed supply. Would not be considered deemed supply. Right, working note number 2. If a registered person transfers any asset permanently without consideration, where ITC has been availed, comma, such transfer would be regarded as Deemed would be regarded as deemed. In the present case, Miss Shreya has not availed the ITC on the old computer transferred to orphanage. And thus, it would not be it would not be considered as deemed supply. Would not be considered as deemed supply. Working note 3. Now we will write, see how many points we have written. So we discussed everything about 7 lakhs. So there is no explanation needed. We discussed everything about this in the working note. We discussed everything about this in the working note, right? So the next point which we are going to write, that is in case of repairs, right? We can write about repairs. So come here and write working note number 3. GST paid on works contract availed for repair of office building would be eligible for ITC would be eligible for ITC if the same is not capitalized. Write working note number 4. Legal services availed from an advocate would be taxable under reverse charge mechanism. And that's it. If you write this much, it is enough. Is everybody clear? Super. Nice. No, don't write reference in the working note because I have seen that institute does not give marks if you have written all the workings, like working notes, in the table itself. In the suggested answers, it is written like that. But they want you to write working notes independently. So please write them independently. Unless it is a very small point that you don't need a working note, but You want to write something, but working note will be too small for that point. Then you can write that in the table itself. Understood? Okay. Now you come to question number 7. Now, why not 6? Because it had come in the recent exams. That's why I'm not discussing that right now. Come to question number 7. Or rather, first we will solve 8 and then we'll come to 7. We will discuss 8 first and then we'll write 7. Okay. Come to question number 8. Last 2 questions for today. And after this, there is nothing. So 8 and 7, last 2 questions. DEF Private Limited, a registered supplier of goods and services in Pune, Maharashtra, has furnished the following details for the month of Jan. Very important, Jan, and the turnover is given. Uh, from this table, we need to identify that what is there in table 1, what is there in table 2, what is there in table 3. Okay. Intrastate outward supply of taxable goods is 5 lakhs. Intrastate outward supply of taxable goods is 5 lakhs. Can I say this is going to be table number 1, everybody? This is going to be table number 1, everybody. And this is intra. Krishna tomorrow. Second point. DEF Private Limited had provided service of booking flight tickets for employee of H Enterprise registered in Delhi in the economy class from Bagdogra to Pune, Maharashtra. I want everyone to try this and tell me what will be the answer for this. What will be the answer for this? Okay. People are saying exempt from tax, exempt from tax. Few people are saying not exempt. Please try to understand. Please try to understand. I appreciate your thinking that you know that in exemption chapter there is some point of transportation of passenger service. If there is a service of transportation of passengers where it is by flight, if the transportation service has been given by flight and the start point or end point is in specified states, start point or end point is in specified states, it will be exempt. Then you said, ki, sir, Bagdogra is a specific state, no? That's why it should be exempt from tax. Yes, if it is a service of transportation. Is this a service of transportation? No, this is the service which is given by DF Private Limited. This is the service which is not of transportation service. This is DF Private Limited had provided service of booking. He has charged brokerage of that. He has charged commission for booking a flight. If the service is given by Air India from Bagdogra to Pune, exempt from tax. But you came to me for for taking a ticket from Bagdogra to Pune, and for that I charged you 20,000 rupees. That 20,000 rupees, is this for transportation of passengers? No, this is commission charged for booking. So this 20,000 is that, and that's why this is going to be taxable. I hope you're clear. This 20,000 is going to be taxable. I hope you're clear. Understanding? So this is going to be taxable. Yes. Okay. So this is the service fee which is charged. This is not transportation service. If it is transportation service, yes, it is exempt because Bagdogra is there. But don't get confused because which service is there you need to see every time. Okay. Okay. Come to the third point. And whether it is inter or intra, whether it is inter or intra, registered in Delhi, right? So normal registration Delhi hai, so it is going to be inter. Then DEF Private Limited had purchased goods worth 5 lakhs from R Limited, registered in Gujarat, on 15/3/24. Our financial year is what? 24/25, which starts from which date? 1/4/24 till 31/3/25. Okay. He had purchased goods worth 5 lakhs from R Limited, registered in Gujarat, on 15/3/24. This is last year. Last year, I had purchased goods worth 5 lakhs. Now, R Limited issued a debit note on 15/1/25 for post delivery service to DEF Private Limited as part of the terms of sales, which means they given me a debit note on 15/1/25, which is in the current month, which is in the current year. So, invoice is raised in the last year, debit note is raised in the current year. What is that point which you will remember for understanding this point? Because otherwise you nothing, like, you will not understand anything in the exam if you're reading this for the first time. I wanted to think and tell me which will be that point which you will implement in this point. Absolutely right. Claim of ITC. The ITC can be claimed for the invoice. The time limit to avail the ITC for the invoice is different than the debit note. So basically, if debit note and invoice both are raised in different financial years, you have to consider the time limit for claiming the ITC independently. Now, for the amount of 5 lakh rupees, this is the financial year, that is 23/24. For the debit note, the date is going to be 15/1/2025, which is 24/25. For both the financial years, understand this is financial year 23/24 and this is financial year 24/25. For both the financial years, the time limit to avail the ITC is going to be different. They just want to see whether you know this point or not. Understanding, because we are in Jan 25, right? So if we are in Jan 25, can I say the time limit to avail the ITC for the invoice is lapsed? Time limit to avail the ITC for invoice, main invoice, last year's invoice, is lapsed. Why? Because for 20, be very careful. Huh? For 23/24, what is the last date to avail the ITC? For 23/24, it is going to be 30th November of the subsequent financial year, right? 30th November of 24, or actual date of filing annual return. Assume that the annual return is filed on 31st of December 24. So whichever is earlier comes to 30/11/24. So point is, on 30/11/24, time limit for availing the ITC for invoice is over. Now they wanted to check, do you know that debit note ka time limit to claim the ITC is not the same as original invoice. If you consider that as the same, then you will not get the ITC on 25,000 rupees. But since it is different, can I say that for the debit note for 25,000, which is paid, which is paid by me, I will get the ITC, because for claiming ITC on this 25,000, I still have the time limit. What is the time limit for 24/25? 24/25 ka time limit is going to be 30th of November 25, or actual date of filing the annual return. Say, for example, it is filed on 31/12. So the point is, whichever is earlier comes to 30/11/25. Please try to understand which month is this? January 2025. Can I say this is well within this period? And that's why on 25,000, you will get the ITC. And 25,000, you will get the. So this is point number. So this is point number two. And this is what interstate, Gujarat, right? Very good point. Very good point. You need to understand, and you have to understand ki boss, for this debit note, the time limit is this, and today's date is Jan 25. That's why I have time limit to avail the ITC on 25. So definitely I will get the ITC on 20. Okay, good point. For that, you need to have knowledge of ITC chapter. Okay. DEF Private Limited has sold one of its unit in Pune as a going concern with all goods and unexecuted orders to H Limited registered in New Delhi. What will happen? Will it be taxable? Will it be exempt? What will happen? Now it is specifically mentioned in miscellaneous points. If you have my Rapider, you go to miscellaneous points. First or second question point is on this all is in this is in relation to this only. Where this where the unit is given as going concern, sold as going concern, it is taxable, or it is not taxable. It is going to be what? Exempt from. Very good. Super. DEF Private Limited had provided service to Mr. Y, registered in Punjab, to organize business exhibition in Dubai. Business exhibition in Dubai. Again, an exemption chapter. If you have attended my lectures, I had told you to write this O point. And the exact all the points which I have asked you to write as O points, all the points will be here. Okay. So it is going to be business exhibition in Dubai. It has to be outside India. Then only it will be exempt. So this will also be understanding. Then interstate outward supply of service is 10 lakhs. Interstate outward supply of service is 10 lakhs. This is normal. Table number one. Amount towards receipt of intrastate services. Amount towards receipt of intrastate services. Receipt of services. It will be table number two. Purchase of confectionery items which are to be used to supply free of cost to customers. A customer meet in a customer meet organized by DEF Private Limited. Confectionery items purchased. Can I say this is blocked unless it is a statutory obligation? So it will be blocked. 17.5. Right? So we have written that in table number one, how many points will come? 1, 2, and 3. 3 points will come in table number one. After that, in table number two, that is ITC, 25,000 will come and 6 lakhs will come. And if they're opening, yes, they're opening. Then opening will come. So 3 points in table number two and 3 points in table number one. Let's see. Three points in table number one and table number two. Okay. Uh, Outward, right? This two, and this is the third one. Basically, you will get the output tax liability as then ITC. Again, 3 points were there. This, and this. This is the third point. You will get this answer of, and I have done the total liability computation as well. But this entire point, like it is this entire question, is a homework question for you. So I have given the answer and everything. Try to get the answer as 81,100, which means you calculate everything on your own and then just check it with this answer. Correct? And this is how, because what will happen is if I tell you to do everything on your own, you can get confused in utilization. So that's why I don't want you to get confused in utilization. So I computed this utilization for you, right? And kept it in front of you. So whenever you'll solve it on your own, come back to the video and just see whether the utilization you have done is matching with my utilization or no, right? Will everybody do it? Will everybody do this homework? And now we are going ahead with the last question for today. That is question number 7. Here we will write at least the 3 tables. Okay. Good question. And it'll be good practice. See, look at the size of the question. Question number 7. Look at the size of the question. 1.5 pager question is there. Okay. But nothing to worry because I'm there. Okay. Come to question number 7. Last question for today. Evershine Private Limited, a GST registered supplier located in Jaipur, okay, Rajasthan, is engaged in taxable supply of packaging goods and consultancy services. It provides following details of various activities undertaken during the month of September 24. Okay. They have given the data of outward supplies. Have they given the data of inward supplies? Sorted. Sorted. We don't need to identify one or two and everything. Come here. Supply of goods of 18 lakhs. Now I want everybody to try them. Okay. Supply of goods of 18 lakhs to Vaidehi Enterprises, a registered person of Udaipur, Rajasthan, further received 50,000 from Vaidehi Enterprises towards freight charges as agreed to deliver the goods at Vaidehi Enterprises premises, which was not included in the above supply. Can I say this is a normal supply? This will fall under table number 1. And since it is there in table number 1, what will be the value? Value will be 18 lakh rupees plus whatever will be the freight, that is 50,000 rupees. So it will be 18 lakhs 50,000 rupees. Simple. This is your value, basic value of supply point. Okay. Then supply of goods worth 35 lakhs to Calc Exim, a registered person in Prayagraj, Uttar Pradesh. Further, the amount of 60,000 charged separately, not included above, from Calc Exim on account of municipal taxes levied on such outward supply. Can I say here also that 35 lakhs is normal and 60,000 is charged for municipal taxes? Can I say this will also fall under table 1 and the amount will be 35 lakhs 60,000? Very simple. Okay. Okay. Let's try to identify whether it is inter or intra simultaneously. So it is Rajasthan. I am also in Rajasthan. So it is going to be intra. Correct? Second point, Prayagraj, Uttar Pradesh, it is going to be inter. Okay. Supply of services to Sunshine Limited, a registered person in Jodhpur, Rajasthan, before discount worth 6 lakhs. Supply of services registered person before discount is 6 lakhs. Further discount of 30,000 has been given at the time of supply of service and it is duly recorded in the invoice. Since it is duly recorded in the invoice, while computing the value of supply, you will reduce that particular discount. So, what will be the supply? Can I say 5 lakh 70,000? And this is given to Jodhpur, Rajasthan, which is intrastate. Simple. Okay. It delivered the goods worth 2 lakhs to Jeevan Solutions, a registered person located at Bikaner, Rajasthan, on the direction of Raghu Enterprises, a registered person of Mumbai, Maharashtra, and tax invoice was issued by Evershine Private Limited to Raghu Enterprise of Mumbai, Maharashtra. Okay, what do you think? It delivered the goods worth 2 lakhs to Jeevan Solutions, a registered person located at Bikaner. on the direction of Raghu Enterprises. Who am I? What is my name? I'm Evershine. Okay. What did I do? I delivered the goods to G1 Solutions. Now I had told you, I had explained you three situations, like three persons. Ranveer Singh was here, Deepika Padukone was here, and Manish Malhotra was here. If you remember the example. Okay. Who am I? I am delivering the goods, right? To G1 Solutions on the direction of Raghu Enterprise. Can I say so? Here, Deepika Padukone is Raghu Enterprise, built to ship to model. I delivered the goods to G1 Solutions, and I am Manish Malhotra, which means Evershine Enterprise. And under build to ship to, even though the goods are getting delivered to G1, in this case, the time of supply, the place of supply will be of whom? See, to on 2 lakh rupees, GST will be applicable. That is all okay. That is all okay. But the question is whether it is interstate or intrastate. Under build to ship to, the person who gives the direction, his location will be considered as place of supply. Who is giving the direction? The direction is giving, who is giving the direction? The direction is given by Raghu Enterprise, who is registered in Mumbai. He has given the direction. And that's why he is in Mumbai. I am in Rajasthan. It is going to be interstate. They tested your place of supply knowledge as well in, right? Nice. This is your interstate. Simple. So all the 4 points will come. 4 points will come in your table number 1. Inter, intra, independently. Okay. Last few points are left. Details of inward supplies. Purchased raw materials worth 20 lakhs from PQR Limited, a registered dealer located at Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh. Goods worth 1 lakh out of total purchases were not received during the month. Do you remember section number 17.5? Do you remember section number 16? They had mentioned that you should receive the goods. If you have not received the goods, you will not get the ITC. Only exception was bill to ship to. And that's why this will fall under table number 2 as 19 lakh rupees. And this is going to be interstate. Very simple. Okay. Purchased machinery for manufacturing process worth 2 lakhs from MPQ Private Limited, a GST registered dealer located at Bangalore, Karnataka. Company has claimed depreciation on full value of machine, including the GST component. Including the GST component. They have claimed the depreciation. Will I get the ITC? No. Because they have already taken a benefit under Income Tax Act. That's why I will not get the depreciation under GST. I will not get the ITC under GST. So, no ITC. Correct. Third point, purchase truck worth 15 lakhs from GST registered dealer located at Ajmer, Rajasthan for transportation of goods. GST is given, no depreciation has been claimed. This is purchase of motor vehicle. If in case of purchase of motor vehicle, if it is in case of supply of goods, then in that case, ITC is definitely allowed. So I will get the ITC of 15 lakh rupees on 15 lakh rupees. So table number 2, 15 lakh rupees, and Ajmer, Rajasthan, which is going to be intra. Super. Purchased car having seating capacity of 7 persons, costing to 10 lakhs. Excluding GST from Mihir Automobile Private Limited, a GST registered dealer located at Ajmer, Rajasthan, for use of its director for official purpose. What will I do with this? Will I get the ITC? It is for official purpose. Will I get the ITC? Correct. And I'm in which business? Packaging and consulting service. So I'm not in the business of same line basically. So Seating capacity is less than 13. That's why I will not get the ITC. Purchased goods worth 5 lakhs from DEF Buildwell Private Limited, a registered person of Jaipur, Rajasthan, for construction of an additional floor of factory building, and the amount has been capitalized in the books of Evershine Private Limited. Now you tell me what will happen. Amount capitalized. So block of ITC concept will be applicable. Now we will see what did I do? Like what did I purchase? Purchase goods for construction, which means this is self construction. What did I build? I build movable or immobile property. I did not build movable property. I build immobile property. If it is an immobile property which is in relation to plant and machinery, I would have got the ITC. But this is not plant and machinery. Other than plant and machinery, I will not get the ITC. ITC will be blocked. ITC will be blocked. Understanding? Okay. So I will not get the ITC because ITC is blocked. So no ITC. Everybody. Super. Now opening balance is given and rate of GST is given 9, 9 and 18. Can we start writing? At least 3 tables we will make. Let's start. The last question for today. Was there anything difficult? Nothing was difficult, right? I'm telling you, if your concepts are strong and if you understand how to write the answers like you must have understood by now, it will be a cakewalk. It'll be fun. Question number 7. Computation of, sorry, outward tax. So there were 4 points if I'm not wrong. IGST, CGST, SGST, right? So directly write the supply of goods intrastate. Intrastate supply of goods. Correct? So what was the amount? Keep the calcies handy. 18 lakh 50 into 9%. It will be 166,500. Then interstate, right? Interstate supply of goods. Interstate supply of goods. So it will be 6 lakhs 40,800. Supply of services to Evershine registered person in Jodhpur, right? So supply of services, intrastate supply of services, it will be 51,300. Then sale of goods under bill to ship to model. Inter की intra, inter. Interstate supply of goods under bill to ship to model. $36,000. So 6,76,800, 2,17,800, and again 2,17,800. Total outward tax. Point two, computation of ITC. You have to write it full, huh? At least for the heading, you have to write it full. Here, how many points are there? I can see opening 1, 2, 3. 3 points I can see, including opening. IGST, CGST, SGST. Opening balance. $75,000, $20,000, $50,000. Intra, one second. Interstate purchase of raw materials. $3,42,000. Dash, dash. Then truck, no? Intrastate purchase of truck. $2,10,000. So it will be total ITC 4,17,000, 2,30,000, and 2 lakhs. Right, computation of net GST liability for the month of September. particulars, IGST, CGST, SGST. Then write outward tax. There is no RCM, so we'll not write now. Outward tax 676,800 2,17,800 less ITC. We'll write IGST, CGST, SG. 4,17,000, 2,30,000, and 2 lakhs. Okay. Now, how will we utilize? First of all, entirely against IGST, everyone. So full against IGST, that is 4 lakhs 17,000. Correct? Dash dash. Okay. Now CGST is left. Now in CGST, what will I do? I will use completely against CGST first. So it will become 0. 2 lakh 17,800. I'm left with what? 12,200. Correct? So I will use 12,200 against IGST. Simple. So my CGST is also 0. Right? Okay. Now out of this 260, I will use against 217,800. I used it here. Now you try to compute, like out of 260, I have utilized it. I have utilized 217,800. Can I say I'm left with 42,000, 42,200, 42,200, and I have space here. So I will completely use 42,200 here. So net GST payable will be 676,800 minus these. So 0, 0, 4, 5, 0, 2. 2 lakhs 5,400 everyone. Here it will be nil, and here it will there be any will there be any amount which will be left in ITC? No, everything will be utilized. Here it got utilized, here also it got utilized, here also it. And this is how you will present that. And whatever working notes are there. Boys and girls, are we done? Are you getting some kind of confidence now in GST liability questions? It is okay if you don't write the value. If you want to write the value, you can write the value. No problem. So, boys and girls, we are absolutely done. We are absolutely done with the GST liability question. We are done with GST liability questions. Now you have to solve at least 10 questions on your own. You don't need to sit for long hours to solve these questions. You just need to sit for 10 minutes every day to solve at least one question. Whatever question bank, whoever's question bank you have, you will have multiple questions to solve. You can take revision test papers, you can take any mock test paper, and you can start solving. Don't look here and there that whether I have the answer or no. Of course you will have the answer, because you are if you are looking at the mock test paper, you'll have the answers for the mock test, right? So you have to understand one thing. You have to write down along with the working notes 10 questions on your own, and that is my guarantee that you will not face any problem in GST liability questions in the exam. Because understanding is one thing, how to write it is another thing, and effectively writing it in time is also another thing. And that's why you have right now understood that how to implement and how to write, but now you have to just practice a lot for writing everything in time, because our tax paper is a big paper. Okay. Yes. So, guys, that's it for today. I hope that today's session was helpful. If yes, and if you have not yet liked the video, boss, you have to like the video, because we both have taken a lot of efforts. So please like the video, and if you have genuinely felt the difference, then please let me know your thoughts in the comment section as well, as just a token of appreciation that sir, we enjoyed the lecture, sir. We understood whatever you have taught. Thank you so much. That is also enough, right? So guys, that's it for today, guys. I will see you in the next lecture. Till then, bye bye. See you. Take care. Take care. Take care. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Please share this with all your friends who are from any region of India or outside India, wherever, because that is in English. Anybody can watch this video. Right? Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Bye bye. See you. Take care. Bye. Take care.